I thought it was awesome.
I liked it, but I think I liked it like I liked Thor 1. Like, it's good, but it didn't get me there.
No?
No.
It didn't fill you with emotion?
No.
No?
No.
Damn. Heartless. It's not about an alcoholic guy with a heart condition. You just don't give a shit, do you?
No, I don't. I think Gal Gadot did a great job as Wonder Woman. I think Chris Pine did a great job as Steve Trevor. Everyone did their job well. At least for me, there was just some disconnect. And I think part of it is there are a few I felt sloppy things in the movie. Like there's the part where she's running off to the battlefield on a horse, and for some reason, like the next shot is like tilted, and then we go back to a regular shot, and then
it's because it was an overhead shot of her, and then it followed her, so it tilted.
It looked weird.
A lot of movies do that though.
And then there's the shot where she's about to fight Ares, and she forgot her sword. And we cut to Steve Trevor, and when we come back, the movie takes the time to show you that, hey, she got her sword and she's jumping back down to the spot where she was. Like, it just, it took me out a little bit.
She got her sword back.
Yeah.
She had to get her sword back.
And I know this doesn't bother you as much because you always say, CG always looks weird to you.
It's always fake. So
yeah, but there's a couple shots near the end where like she's standing like in front of like fire that looks like
it's always the and I will agree that the CGI for that stuff, it's always the stuff where they want to make the beauty shots.
Yeah. And
you can tell that everything behind her is fake. That did look sloppy's not the word I'd use. But it looks more fake than CGI usually does.
Yeah.
And it looks that way to me in the Avengers films. It looked that way to me at the end of the Batman Superman film and Man of Steel. In all movies, whenever they do those big like glory shots at the end of it, there's nothing there ever, so they have to recreate the ground and the sky and the buildings and the fire. And fire is a hard thing to make look right when it's not real.
And it's one of those shots that probably looks fine in 3D, but we saw it in 2D, so it takes you out a little bit more. Yeah, there are very small things, very nitpicky things on my part that took me out. That, and I thought the whole scene where her and Steve Trevor were on the boat talking about reproductive stuff,
was awesome.
It came off a bit like the Romeo and Juliet clause from Age of Extinction. It's like, this is going on for a while, guys. Wrap it up. It was funny at first, and then it's like, Jesus Christ, how many times are they going to be awkward?
They're just saying, we don't need your dick, Steve.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
But I did enjoy it, and I think talking about it more, I think I'll probably enjoy it more.
How did you feel about the story?
I think the story was fine. For those of you that haven't watched the movie yet, the story is the basic Wonder Woman origin. Her mom, or Hippolyta, doesn't want her to go into man's world, and she's very eager to learn how to fight and be a part of the Amazonian.
And Hippolyta wants nothing to do with her daughter fighting, which we learn is because if she starts fighting, and I guess this is one thing that wasn't fully explained, but if she starts learning about herself, then it makes it easier for Ares to find her, who is kind of this like big bad, because he's the one god left alive after this gauntlet where he killed
everybody except Zeus,
because he just corrupted man. But I didn't know if it was because, well, this is going to be spoiling for a big part at the end of the film, I guess. But we learned that the same way it is now since the New 52, her father is Zeus.
Yes.
So is it because if she trains, her powers start to come out, which they started to?
Yeah, we do see that
in her kind of last big training scene. Her powers start to develop, and then Ares can find her because she's coming more into her godhood, I guess, maybe, and that's why Hippolyta is like worried is worried about her training.
Yeah, but Steve comes to the island, sets off all the chain events. She leaves, and they're trying to stop World War I. And from there, it's a lot like it's kind of like Cap, where they're trying to go find the secret weapon and get rid of it. And that's the rest of the movie. Like they get their ragtag bunch of misfits, which is really funny.
I love his friends.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Sammy. Samir.
Samir.
Yeah, I don't know his name. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. Saeed Tagmaoui, who I've seen. He was in what's that movie with George Clooney and Ice Cube, Mark Wahlberg, and
Three
the
Kings?
Desert. Yes, he was in that. He was one of the henchmen in that, and the guy who plays Chief was awesome.
The guy from Trainspotting is in it.
The guy from Trainspotting, who is Ewan Bremner. Charlie's Story, who is the guy from Trainspotting. His story was kind of cool because they're all kind of broken in their own way. That Sammy wants to be an actor, but he's stuck being in a war. And Charlie is suffering from massive amounts of PTSD because he was a sniper and he can't fire his gun. Chief doesn't want to choose a side because the white man stole his land, so he's just selling to both sides. He's selling tea to the Germans and German beer to the British. And then Diana comes in and kind of inspires them all to fight for a better reason. And
she she judges them she judges Charlie.
She judges them all hard because she judges Sammy for being a womanizer and Charlie for being a dishonorable coward because he doesn't see who he kills,
and also that he can't shoot his gun,
and that Chief refuses to actually pick a side.
And then in the middle of the film, there's a big fight in a town, and we see bits and pieces that she's come around to them.
It's the first big Wonder Woman kind of moment in the film because before that point we had just got her kind of like training, and then when she finally takes Steve and leave, which is a very very sad scene because her mom's like, well, you're my greatest love, now you're my greatest sorrow, I think she calls her. It's like, damn, that's cold. And then we meet Etta Candy, who is wonderful.
She's one of the best.
She's hilarious. And we get Wonder Woman trying on clothes and nothing fits because she goes to fight. And then we get a scene ripped straight out of Superman from 1978, which I think was even shot in the exact same alleyway as the Superman film and plays out nearly identical, but under different context. And it's amazing. And Wonder Woman saves Steve because Steve's a bit of a wuss.
Until he punches some guy.
Yeah, but then the first big scene with her kind of as Wonder Woman is like you said, they go to they go to the village, but yeah, it's a big trailer scene.
She comes out to no man's land because Steve wants them to go complete the mission,
and it's really bad. It's like trench warfare, and this whole town is being held.
And she's
captive.
Everyone. They're slaves. They don't have any money. They don't have any food. And she goes, "I've had enough.
I'm stopping this shit now."
And she does.
Oh, it's awesome. She stops a machine gun. I love when she whacks the mortar shell.
Yeah,
he's like, get this shit out of here. I don't need this anymore. That's awesome.
That happened a few times in the movie. Like there's like casual like death.
Yeah, where she just like fuck this bomb.
She does it. I don't know the general at the beginning. Was that Artemis that trained her?
No, it wasn't. Give me a minute.
But they're on the beach when like the Germans are attacking, and she just kind of like nonchalantly shoots a guy with her bow and arrow behind her, and Steve does the same thing on the beach, like with a rifle we stole. Like
it's Antiope. That can't be the right. I cannot be pronouncing that right. Antiope. Antiope.
Yeah,
and it kind of sounded like what they were saying. But that's that scene at the beach because whenever Steve comes, it's the first kind of battle in the film, and then Steve comes in. The Germans kind of follow him past the veil, and it was sad to see the first Amazon get shot because they give her a glory shot where they all jump off this gigantic cliff and shoot their bows
into the cliff,
into the mountain, and then swing down on ropes to like shoot them with arrows, and then the first one gets shot. It's like, fuck, man, you gave her this gigantic. I guess Amazons aren't invincible.
Yeah,
they're just immortal, which are two different things. Yeah, Wonder
Woman's weird because she gets shot. She gets hurt.
She gets hurt.
She gets hurt on the beach, and then when someone's tending to her wounds, like she's like, "Oh, your wounds are already gone."
That's weird.
Which isn't touched upon too much, but gets explained later.
I guess because where she's the son of Zeus or the daughter of Zeus with Hippolyta, then she ends up being a demigod, so she has a bit of a
healing factor.
Yeah, I guess. But
I do like cool. The fact that the movie does do a bit more show than tell, which is a bit which is the problem I have with King Arthur this year is that it did more tell than show.
Yeah. Watching her kick the shit out of all those guys in the village was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And we also get Dr. Poison, who is working with General Ludendorff.
Who is not
Ares. Who he was built up to be Ares, and that's who she had to kill. And
he even got like this PCP serum that gave him strength.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
Dr. Poison is like making this like poison gas that's worse than mustard gas and like gas masks and things because it's all hydrogen based, and she's going to release it across Europe. That way Germany can actually win the war. And Ludendorff is working with her, and she makes him this like weird, like you said, it's almost like PCP, and he sniffs it. It's like a smelling salt, and she said, "Here's to get some of your power back." And we're like, "Oh, okay." So she's made some kind of smelling salt for gods.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, "That's weird." But I was like, whatever, it's fine.
Just roll with it.
Yeah, and then they try to stop, and the whole mission is Steve trying to stop this gas from being released on the eve of
the armistice.
Yeah. And Wonder Woman eventually fights Ludendorff, who is hopped up on PCP, and
stabs him.
And she stabs him in the chest, and it's like, oh, okay, well, Ares is dead. And my first thought was, man, that was weak. I was like, that was a quick fight, and it wasn't a spectacle. I was like, okay, maybe that's what they're going for. They're going for something that's more about the questions being asked about war than actually fighting war itself. Yeah. And of course, the war doesn't stop. And Steve's like, Diana, you're losing your mind. Like,
it doesn't matter if Ares exists or not. These people are bad.
It's like sometimes we're not all good.
Yeah,
and I love that line. And I love when they're talking about the corruption of man, and is it our fault that we are this way, or is it Ares' fault?
Yeah,
and it was smarter than it had to be, I guess. But then we find out that actually Ares does exist.
Ares is the good-natured gentleman that helped him out.
I don't remember his name.
Not Morgan, right? David Thewlis plays him.
David Thewlis does?
Because it's the guy who played Remus Lupin, right?
Sir Patrick Morgan.
Yes.
Who was a speaker for the Imperial War Cabinet. And he ends up being Ares.
He gives his whole spiel about how humanity doesn't deserve what's been given to them because they're coded bastards.
And he sells himself as being the god of truth and not the god of war, and that he's just showing them for what they really are. Of course, he's insane and stupid, but he wants Diana to help him wipe out humankind to retake over Earth, because he believes that whenever Zeus created man was a scourge of the Earth and took the Earth away from the gods, and he wants his home back. And I was really worried that it was going to be her just kind of like fighting like CGI particle stuff while he just like flew in the air with like a suit on,
which that kind of happened.
And it was that for the first, I would say the first third of the fight. And I was like, I was like, it's cool, but it's like this is what I thought it would be. I want to see her fight a god.
Yeah.
And then when he finally tells her, that you are the son, or is that you are the daughter of Zeus, your mother lied. Yeah. She gets mad and unleashes all of this like power. And the whole time, Steve, his crew, they're trying to get the gas away. And then Ares puts on his armor. That
is one of the coolest scenes in the movie.
It was awesome.
And because they're fighting, and she throws a bomb at some bombs that he threw at her. Because he's got like, he's basically, for the first third of the fight, he's Magneto. He's just throwing metal at her.
Well, he's the way that I looked at it is that he's controlling the destruction.
Yeah.
So all of the things that were broken by war, were things of war, he could control. Yeah. Also, he's a god, so I imagine he has like telekinesis.
But he throws some like bombs at her, and she responds by throwing a bigger bomb, and it separates him. And when he's in the fire, he just grabs random pieces of metal and starts forming armor, which is just badass.
And when he makes his eye holes, he just like
drags them.
He just melts away the eye holes, and the whole time that he's doing that, which is awesome, Steve is saying his goodbyes to Diana, because Steve realizes that this big plane is going to drop this gas over London, and the only way that he can get rid of it is to fly it as high as he can and then blow it up.
Yeah.
And he's telling her all of these things, and we catch a little bit of them, but Diana, her hearing is
clouded from the bomb,
so she can't hear what he's saying mostly. So we don't hear it, and it's the saddest thing in the world, because he's going off to die, and she can't hear him. And so he gives her his watch, which is a callback to a very, very funny scene whenever he first got to the island, and he's taking a bath, and he stands up and he's nude, and of course Diana has questions about men and wondering what that is, as she says, and he's like, oh, it's a watch.
Yeah.
They're like, this conversation's not about that watch, is it? But it was a watch that his dad had, that his dad's dad had, so he gave it to her, and he flies away, and then Diana fights Ares basically to the death. Kind of, or as much of a death as you can get, because there's a whole big thing made about how this sword is
the sword she has is the god killer.
Is the god killer? It was,
or at least that's what it's built up to.
Yes, it was a gift from Zeus, and then Ares explains that no, the sword is not the god killer.
He just melts it.
Yeah, because Diana is the weapon that Zeus gave.
Because only a god can kill another god.
Yeah.
I was a little bit let down by their fight at the end. Like, it wasn't as hard hitting as I wanted it to be. Because he just kind of he still kind of played the Magneto card where he kept throwing stuff. Occasionally he'd get some swords in his hand and they'd
I think
do that.
I don't know if the producers or the writers or the director I don't know if they're worried about it, but I wonder if they were a bit worried about showing this 8-foot tall man punching Diana in the face.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were worried about that.
But this sounds right. This is kind of what I wanted. Because I wanted like Diana at the end to be like to be through a fight and like beat up Ares at the end. But we didn't. It was a bit more clean cut. It was
but she ends up he ends up throwing lightning at her.
Yeah,
and she absorbs it into her because she's losing the the fight is over. It's she's lost the fight. Charlie and Chief and Sammy they're all out of bullets. They've blown up the factory that they can. She has decided not to kill Dr. Poison on principle because Ares is kill her because she's ugly and she's what's wrong with humanity because she's ugly.
She's the reason all this is going on right now.
She wants to kill everything, and Diana says no.
Because she has that moment of clarity where she finds out what Steve says.
Yeah.
And it's sad, and he goes, I wish we had more time, which that would have been heartbreaking if he just left it at that.
But I love what he says because Diana is saying, Steve, whatever you have to do, let me do it instead. And he says, no, I can save today. You have to save the world. And it was so tragic. No. It was so sad. But she's on the ground. She's wrapped in a door that Ares has magnetoed around her.
Yeah.
It's you've lost. I'm going to destroy you now. And then she sees the plane explode as Steve blows it up. I love that whenever he gets really high in the air, Steve starts to laugh. He can't. It's all for me. It was a moment of he couldn't believe what he'd just been through.
Yeah.
It's oh wow, Ares is real. I fell in love with this ancient
Amazonian
demigod
thing. Yeah.
I'm saving the world, and he just laughs, and then he smiles, and he blows up the plane, which gives Diana the momentum to get up and beat the shit out of Ares, and then use his own lightning against him.
Yeah, which makes sense because daughter of Zeus.
I guess the gauntlets absorb the lightning, or she does, or something does, and she shoots it through his chest.
Right now, it's playing up the gauntlets, but I don't know if they'll play with this. But in Azzarello's run, the gauntlets actually held back her demigod power.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because there's it's issue 20 where she's getting beat up by some of the other offspring of gods. And I thought you'd be tougher, and then the gauntlets fall off, and she gets lightning power. She's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm the daughter of Zeus.
Yeah. And then it kind of ends because the whole film is a flashback, and the present day stuff is all whenever Bruce delivers the picture of Diana and Steve and crew in Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
And then she starts to fade back and remember her childhood and remember this big and remember the last big great war. And then it goes back to the present where she gets the iconic hero shot of being able to jump off a building to go save lives. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it.
People were saying this is better than this is the best DC movie we've gotten since The Dark Knight, which I don't think I can argue with.
I can't argue with that. I would say I enjoy it more than the Nolan Batman films. I think because the Nolan the Batman films that Nolan did, they weren't entirely a Batman movie.
No.
They were a crime film where a guy just happened to be wearing a mask. This feels like a Wonder Woman, like a comic book film. So it's probably better than those. It might be one of DC's. It's definitely one of DC's best films they've ever made. I know that Kurt Busiek said that it was the best since the original Superman film.
Yeah. That's high praise.
Probably not far off.
And I like the press release that Patty Jenkins released after the movie came out. She said, listen, I'm tired of sincerity and hope being frowned upon in the media. I just want to make a movie about a hero who believes in all that and who believes in love. Because at the end of the movie, Diana goes, I used to think it was about killing one monster to save everyone, but really it comes down to love saves the world. And it's really nice, it's really heartfelt, really sincere, and it is nice to see that because I think
we don't get that from these kinds of movies because a superhero film should be that, and we don't get that anymore.
We only kind of get that with Cap.
Yeah, I mean we get it with the first Cap about hope and trying hard and doing the right thing, but Diana's a character that, like Cap. A character like Cap, they won't ever let him say, well, he does it all for love. Like, Diana's a character that, yes, she believes in love.
Yeah.
It's about love and war, not about doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. It's about love. And But she is a lot like Cap, and I think that's where the comparisons, a lot of it, are going to come from whenever they compare it to the Marvel films. Also, it's a World War I film. Cap was a World War II film. But it is nice to see that in these films again, because we don't get that nearly enough.
I will say, and this is a bit more on the comedic side, if there's ever a crossover between these movies, I want her to team up with Cap and just be like, I like your shield. I like your shield.
Well, whenever she had her shield, I was like, throw your shield. Throw your shield.
I know, right?
Please throw your shield at somebody. I've seen it done. It's possible. I want you to be the inspiration for the shield.
And she weaponizes the lasso, which is cool.
Yeah, which is really cool. It was because it's a like when it's not. It doesn't move like a normal lasso does. Like there is no hoop that she. It's more of like a.
It's a magic.
It's almost alive because it's like a snake that she throws around almost. But man, the scene whenever she is like swinging it around at Ares and blocking all this stuff, it's like a laser light show. It's amazing. It was awesome. Yeah. And it's really, anytime that the lasso is on Steve, it's hilarious. Yeah. Because
the first scene, they're like, don't fight it. He's like, what is this?
He was like, why is it hot? And he's like, I'm a spy. It's like, how did you do that?
I love the second time because she's like, you lied to me. He's like, I'm a spy. That's what I do. And she's like, what are you doing? Want to do? He's like, we're going to go. I'm going to take you to the front line. She doesn't believe him, so he wraps the lasso around himself. Yeah. And he goes, I'm going to take you to the front, and we're going to end this war. Oh my God, that's an awful idea. Why would I think that? It's so terrifying.
Yeah. He was like, we're probably going to die. Oh God, we're going to die. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think this franchise has a lot of potential, more than anything.
DC needed this. They needed this movie hard. Because this is the kind of stuff they need, because it still has, visually, it still fits with what Zack Snyder does. Yes. The colors are muted a bit, but they don't let Wonder Woman's red, white, and blue be diminished too much.
I'm glad you said that. I have to build off that once you're done.
Okay, but it is definitely a darker palette, but it fits. That's the thing is that Man of Steel, that palette didn't fit that world. The palette fits this world because World War I and everything is shitty. Yes. Because everyone is dying. But visually, it still fits in with the Zack Snyder stuff, but also lets it have hope and love and sadness too, but also joy. And
there's a lot of comedy in this movie.
Exactly. And it's good comedy, and it's funny. It doesn't come, and I think the comedy in this film, much like the drama in it, it's all earned. Yeah. And you buy it.
I will say the one place the colors aren't muted is on Paradise Island.
Exactly.
Which is really cool.
It's like it's always daytime and everything is bright and joyous because it's
paradise.
It's paradise.
Which is really cool.
And then when Diana goes to Man's World, everything is dirty. And she even hates the way London looks because it's smoke and bricks, and she hates it.
So three things to build off what you said. First off, this is another little nitpick. I know, but I'm not a fan of Wonder Woman's theme music. Well, it's more or less the electric guitar. It's like, bow, wow, wow. I'm like, it's the same problem I have whenever I play video games with people online, and like we talk about like the music. I'm like, you know what would be perfect for this? Some heavy metal. I'm like, we're playing a video game set in the Jidaigeki era of Japan, and why would heavy metal fit? It's like the same thing with Wonder Woman. It's like she's an ancient Greek Amazonian princess.
I have two things to say. One, I understand that problem because when it played the score in Batman v Superman, I didn't question the score, and it worked. In this movie, it didn't work as well because the rest of the score isn't that. Yeah. So it kind of came out of nowhere a bit. I was more on its side, I think, because they already won me over last year with it, so I accepted it more. Two, Jidaigeki is not an era of Japan.
That's film.
Jidaigeki means period film.
Never mind. Sorry.
But yes, the theme song does come out of nowhere a bit, but
fine. We're playing a video game. We're in the Battle of Sekigahara. Whatever. That's a thing. Bastard.
But
so that was cool, though. That was another small nitpick. One thing I do love is that we don't see the Wonder Woman film, the Wonder Woman costume proper till about halfway through the film. Yeah, till we get to the No Man's Land like glory shot, which is really cool.
Which is because she gets the headdress, which is her aunt's headdress after she gets killed, and we see it a little bit because she grabs it from the weapons room. Yeah, but it's out of focus. But we know what it is, and then she tries to like show it off, and we get teases of it because you'll see like the skirt or like the W, And then when she goes to try on new clothes, she takes off her fur, and you almost see it on like, oh no, please cover yourself up because we're in London and you're not wearing any clothes. But then we finally see it proper during the big trench warfare fight. It's amazing.
I love it.